Hey folks, something I consider to be doing profound harm to modern humanity is the glorification of weakness, which is being enabled by a culture of unrestrained empathy. In my opinion, one of the most overused words in the current lexicon of our age is trauma. This is not to say that people don't suffer traumatic incidents in the course of their lives. Of course they do. But what I'm talking about is the current phenomenon in which people apply the word trauma to even the most basic and incidental forms of adversity in their daily lives, and then go on to use that as an excuse to create a mythology of suffering around themselves, usually for the purpose of avoiding accountability for their own bad behavior. When I talk about unrestrained empathy, what I mean is not that we should cease to be kind and adopt a survival of the fittest mentality, but I think that when you become so empathetic that you encourage people to engage in behaviors which you know for a fact will be harmful to them as well as those around them, then we have a problem. And this is happening every day. I do not believe, for example, that we should go out of our way to shame people who are overweight. Shaming people who perhaps tend to overeat, for example, will just generally drive them to keep eating more than they should. But by the same token, this does not mean that we should praise and congratulate people for being morbidly obese and too lazy to move around and engage in a healthy lifestyle. I think that the driving factors behind these problems are that for most people in the world, not all but most, particularly in countries with any level of developed modern infrastructure, a lot of our daily physical suffering has been removed. Meaning that, for example, if you want to, you don't even have to go out to get your own food. If you are willing to pay for it, you can have any food you want delivered straight to your door. This attitude, this ease of access, extends to human relationships as well. Social media has given us the false impression that our friends are right at our fingertips. And yes, while social media does enable people to communicate over large distances, even across the entire planet, it also makes that communication, by definition, more shallow and less meaningful than in-person interaction. What I think is that if humanity is to have any chance of surviving for the next 100 years or so, we have to accept that suffering taken on voluntarily is the way to remain strong and to develop characters of worth and value. Because if we don't, we will simply atrophy both mentally and physically until there is nothing left worth saving. That's all I've got to say about that, and for now, farewell.